Hi guys, here we are again with regard to our design video series. So are you now more confused on the choice you have to make with regard to the proper IP right? I think so, and that is okay. It is much information at the same time, so you have heard these things and you digest over time. If you come across with one or the other question, you know already the basics, or you can always look up what you have learned in the previous video or the next videos which are to come. Now there are some leftovers. One is the common principle, and you have always to have this in mind, is the first to file. There are some other jurisdictions where it's first to use, like the US, but here in Europe it is first to file, and in most jurisdictions it is like this. First to file is the winner takes it all. So the one who is first to file something or to publish something or to create something is the one to create and disclose, right? Is the one who is winning. So you have to be quick. You have to be quick in order not to be overdriven by the competition. Another is you may want to think over an application where some parts of designs could be a kind of independent, so it's a combined design of different parts, but you think one part of the design is already published, and you may then want to disclaim that part of the design. That is possible. You mark it through dotted lines and you can do this. So the other is the territorial issue. So you have still, for copyright, for example, is a territorial issue. And for trademarks, it is purely territorial. Designs is purely territorial, although we will come to some things where globalization plays a role in a moment. But the territoriality is one thing to have to take into account, in the sense that you want to be protected not only in the home market where you want to go as so the main market where you sell your products. You may also protect, have a look at where the goods are counterfeited. There are some specialities, speciality country. So the counterfeiting industry, I made a whole video series on that one. The counterfeiting series, they have a lot of intelligence, and they look into where can this be done, where have the manforce, the manpower in order to do this quickly and so on, and where are the 3D printing or whatever it is necessary to do this, where I can do this. So that must not necessarily be your home market. It can be another market which is outside, and in that market, which are more likely to be produced the counterfeit, there you won't have to have a registration in order to enforce it at the source, not at a later stage in the market where you have already lost the sale of hundreds of thousands of the goods you want to sell, but rather on the source, in order not to get this onto your home market. So this is on the strategic issue. Now I want to rather coming to filing. You will see often that they from the legal perspective, they explain you, oh, you have to file this, you have to file that, and you have to do it like this, you have to use that form, etc. That is not the important issue at this moment. At this moment, you need to be clear about some concepts of the design law in Europe, and only then we will look at the filing. But to go directly to filing, that is not something you should do. Now, it is about the groundwork, right? You want a fundament of a house. The better the fundament is, the better the house will hold. Otherwise, if the fundament is bad, then the first typhoon, it is all over. Now, the two concepts I want to present you, and which have main regard with regard to designs in Europe, which is the novelty and the individual character. So the novelty design must be new in order to get to the register, or an unregistered design, so to say, must be new in order to be considered to be protected. That makes sense. So why would you get a monopoly to a design which is not new, which is already out there? No, it must be new. The creative point, the creative nature is to be protected, not something which is out there and you copy it. So the novelty is one of those criteria. Now, novelty, is that sound straightforward to you? How is it with a publication of an earlier design in China? Or what is it of an exhibition in internet in Russia? Your design has already been published over there, but you want to go to Europe in order to protect your design. What do you think? Is that still your new design, territoriality, or is that your new design has been destroyed by an early publication? So this is an important concept I want you to know. There's a two-layer threshold which determines whether this design is new or it has been destroyed. The novelty has been destroyed by the earlier design, or is it still destroyed and you can't anymore claim the novelty? So the first thing is the design is published. That has to be proven by the one who claims that your design is not new. So once the design is registered, you get an invalidity request from a third party who says your design is not new. So that third party, has to prove that an early design has been published. So the publication is on the part of the third party. And in fact, there are some case law which I point out here, some case law which says that if something has been published on the internet in China or on an exhibition in Russia or wherever in the world, so it has been published, so made access to the public, then a publication took place. So it would be not the case if it has been disclosed in a closed circle, in a circle of people, not in the wild, but to a circle of people by saying, well, this is a confidential disclosure. This is not something which should be disclosed by you to the public afterwards. So if that happened the case, then that is not a publication. But if it is something to have been published on the internet or into the wild or into the general public in an exhibition, then it is for the public. So the date naturally is an important issue because it must be earlier. First to file, so it is destroyed only if it is an earlier sign. So the date of publication must be predating your filing, right? So that is the part of the publication. But the publication is, in all the world. And it must not be something registered, right? It can be a creation which has been published elsewhere. Now that tells you what? It is impossible for me to make due diligence for my new design application in order to know what is out there in the world. I can't possibly know what has been published all around. You know, these 1.5 million registrations which are on the register of the EU IPO only. They are worldwide, but they are only on the register. That is not everything which can be opposed to your registration of the design. So it is impossible. And the court recognizes this in the sense that now it is up to you, to the right owner, to the design owner, to prove that, well, even if it has been published, but it is reasonably impossible for me, for the right owner, to have known it, to have come across it. So it is not about in these trade circles where the right owner is doing its business. It is what is on an exhibition in, I don't know, in China, where only Chinese were present. There was no external, no European manufacturer, no European was there who can possibly get the knowledge of it. Or, these kind of things. If it is in the normal circle of trade that you get to know, that you come across to that novelty, then it can be used against you. But if it is not the case, if it is something which is completely out of the blown, or it is only has been published in one part of the planet, which is not yours, and it has not widely publicized into something where everybody can get to know it on an internet site, which everybody would look at, or if it has not been published in the newspaper all around the world, where you will get to know it reasonably well, then it is not necessary that you get to know it. So that is an important issue you should take into account. 2 layers, right? The first has to be proven by the third party. Has it been published? And when it has been published must be earlier than the filing date of your application. And then on the second, is it possible that you reasonably circumspect in your trading habits, you would come across that design or not? Okay, that is on the novelty. There's one caveat here. If you as a designer and the future applicant for a design application, you publish it within 12 months before the filing date of the application, then you get exempted of the novelty destruction. So you have, so to say, a grace period of 12 months, which you can use to think about, well, I want a design, I don't want a design, well, perhaps yes, perhaps not. So if you have published it, you have 12 months in order to file a design application without being destroyed, without being objected. Well, you have already published it somewhere. So there's an important issue. Now, the second issue is the individual character. Novelty is one thing, individual character is the other concept, which has to be proven, which has to be inherent, so to say, inherent of the design. So individual character, I will go a bit more into that. That is a bit ominous and complicated, not such straightforward to understand like the novelty. So I will go into the video with about invalidation, individual character, comparison of the signs, etc. I will go into that a bit. Let me just point out one last thing, an important thing though, which is the novelty and the individual character. I have explained you very long the concepts about it, about the novelty. So this is not really examined by the examiner at the moment of application. So the examiner, they don't care whether it is new or not new. It has to be new, yes, from your side, but they don't care. So it proceeds directly to registration without examining the novelty or the individual character with regard to your design. So why would you care about it, right? What is the catch here? Well, you grasp it, right? You grasp it already. So the catch is that you need still to be on the safe side once you want to register something. So if you want to register out of the blue something which you know, well, it may be published elsewhere and it may not be new, but I will do it. What is the point that you get an invalidation request by a third party who tells you just that, what you know, and you have a lot of expenditure and nothing to show afterwards. So that would not be the nice way to deal with it. So you still need to make your due diligence and to build the fundament, although it is not examined by the office. So see you in the next video. Thank you.